Hey YouTube, Everyman Prepping here. And right now I want to talk to you a little bit about the energy crisis we're having. Got a couple articles to look at, and then stay to the second half of the video where I give some solutions of what I think you need to do to help secure your energy needs this winter. First, please like the video, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, ring that bell as well. If you have subscribed, please share this with others. Let's start with these articles now. So we see that this says that there's a tsunami of shutoffs. 20 million U.S. homes are behind on their power bills. 1 in 6 American homes, that comes out to be, are behind on their power bills as soaring electricity prices spark what is said to be the worst ever crisis in late utility payments. You can see here from the chart that the total U.S. overdue utility balance, basically December 2019, they did yearly, then we changed to monthly in the second half, but it's gone up all except for April. Had a slight reprieve. Probably people had their stimmy checks and decided to catch up a little bit on their electrical bills. Now we also see down here that natural gas fuels about 40% of the U.S. grid. The natural gas-fired electrical plants account for about 40% of the U.S. grid power. And the cost of that natural gas has soared to the highest level since 2008. You can see on this chart, we're right here at this gigantic, almost straight up line, and you come across and we have two high peaks, one in 2008 looks like, and one maybe 2005, a little bit into 2005. So we're hitting the peaks again and probably going to surpass those peaks coming up soon here. This also says utility shutoffs have become more commonplace across the United States, and the lower tier households, of course, the ones that are getting thousands of dollars behind on their power bills. You know, the lower tier people, the ones that are having with fighting inflation, they gotta buy gas to go to their job still. They have to buy food. PG&E here from California said there's been a 40% jump in the number of residential customers behind on payments since February of 2020. So people are getting behind. What happens when people get behind? Each state's probably different. I don't know if there's laws in a lot of states, but if they shut you off in the middle of the winter and you have no gas or electricity because you haven't paid your bill, well, you're going to get cold, your pipes are going to freeze, all kinds of bad things are going to happen. Some might say, well, some jurisdictions, governments might say, well, you can't cut people off because they'll die, but you can limit them. You can give them 5 hours of power a day, you can give them just so much natural gas, then cut them off. So look for rationing of those to people that aren't paying. Also look for stimmy checks coming, probably to help people pay for it, so we can thus still increase our inflation, because that's what this administration likes to do, is fight inflation with giving out more money, which of course will have the opposite effect. And you have to trust those people will actually spend the money on what it's being given for. Next, we have Belgium here. So the Belgian Prime Minister warns that the next 5 to 10 winters will be difficult. Not just this winter or the next because of the Russian conflict, but 5 to 10 years worth. He goes on to say, the coming months will be very difficult. He's warning people. The coming winter will be something that's just not 1 year. It's going to go on for multiple years. They can't just replace the Russian gas that quickly over there. So the Prime Minister comments suggest replacing the natural gas from Russia could take years, exerting further economic doom to the region's economy in the form of energy hyperinflation. I got a feeling other things are going to hyperinflate as well. As you can see from the chart here, the EU natural gas prices are just moonshot right now. It doesn't look like they're stopping anytime soon. And finally, it says the shift from Russian natural gas supplies has backfired on the 19-nation Eurozone. Germany, the Eurozone's largest economy, could be headed for a recession. They're probably already there. They're just denying it like they are here in the United States. And that recession will bring down the rest of the continent, because they're like states. When the big guy goes, they're all going to follow. So we know that it's going to be bad for energy for both Europe and America over here for this winter. But let's talk about what you can do to get prepared for that, what you should be doing. I got some notes here, so don't go off track, go on too many tangents. But the first thing you got to do is you got to get yourself a second source of power. You got to replace what the power company provides you. I know it's expensive, could be cost prohibitive, but you got to do your best at this. So the second source of power could be a generator. It could be a gas-fired generator. If you have a little bit more money, it could be a dual fuel, so you have gas and propane. And even if you want to step it up more, there's tri-fuel generators, which is gas, propane, and natural gas. Get what you can. Gas ones are always the cheapest. Get anything you can. Try to add up the number of watts you use in your house. There's lots of websites out there that can help you figure out, if your refrigerator, your light, your furnace, add that all up. Get a generator that can support the necessities. Then, if possible, you want to get a hired electrician, a licensed electrician. And I would suggest getting a transfer switch that is wired into your main panel. That way you can plug your generator into this transfer switch and then select which circuits along the house you want to turn on and off at certain times. You can then move power around the house throughout the days you need it. Like refrigerators and freezers, always on. Heater on only when I need it. Lights on in only certain rooms. You can conserve power that way, and this also conserves the fuel from the generator. Electricians know how to do this. Get a good qualified one. I don't suggest you do it yourself unless you really know what you're doing, but it's always good to hire a licensed contractor to do that kind of stuff. Secondly, you can get yourself a solar generator and some solar panels. These are going to be obviously quieter, but a lot more expensive. So if you have the means to do it, go for solar and gas generator. Or if you just don't want the noise or you can't run a generator because you're in an apartment or something, you have to try for a solar generator. Now these won't be as powerful and you won't be able to run as much, but you can run a few things. And what you can do for helping in heating is, idea is what I kind of do in my house. So even though there's, we have power, we have, gas here, electricity, all that, but to conserve energy in the winter, we don't run the furnace hardly at all, or not at all. What we do, we have it set down to like 56 degrees. During the day, then you just put on some little extra clothing, no big deal. At nighttime, if you want to heat up your bed, what we use is electric blankets. They work great. You combine that with wool blankets, it works even better. So all the beds in the house have 1 or 2 wool blankets and an electric blanket. So get your wool blankets now. Wool is a great insulator. It'll keep you warm and toasty throughout the night. If you need 1 or 2, get them. They're going to be cheaper now, and they're available now in the summer when no one's thinking about it. So pick up a couple wool blankets now, put them on the bed with a comforter and another sheet, and then right next to the mattress, you lay your electric blanket. What you want to do is about an hour before bed, you turn your electric blanket on, you heat up that mattress, you heat up the wool blanket, and then shut it off. Don't run the electric blanket at night. Don't run it while you're in there. There's electrical EMFs, bad for your health. Don't do it. Just heat up and then shut off before you go to bed. Electric blankets will use 100 to 200 watts. No problem if you have it hooked up, if you have a generator running in the house and you plug it in. If you have a solar generator, just make sure it's powerful enough to run 100 or 200 watts times the number of beds you have going at that time for that amount of time. So if you have a 1,000 watt-hour generator, solar generator, and you have 4 blankets that run at 200 watts, well, that's 800 watts. You can run them about an hour each before you almost go dead. But that hour will warm it up, and then the next day you hook up your panels, you hook it up to regular electricity, and you recharge that thing. Whatever you got to do. You can hook up to the generator if you have both. But electric blankets work great, because once you're sleeping, you're fine. Your body will, once it's asleep, it doesn't need as much heat. You won't wake up, and the electric blanket with the wool blanket will help you a ton. Next, you need a second heat source. So we've talked about if you have a fireplace, get wood. If you have a wood-burning fireplace, get wood. Basically, go get wood right now. I know some of you are looking around the house right now, you look out your window, you hear a chainsaw. Go find out where that wood is. Get wood, stack the wood. If you have a fireplace, see if you can get a wood-burning stove if you don't have one. They'll be more efficient, and you can produce more heat. Now, in the room where the fireplace and the wood stove are, you might want to look and see how you can close it off. Can you close all the doors and confine the heat to that one room? Maybe you sleep in there. You can hang blankets across hallways or doorways to keep the heat in. If you want to contain that heat just to certain areas of the house, try to block those areas off that are, in the airspace of the fireplace or of the wood-burning stove. You can sleep in there. You can put up a tent inside the house. That'll contain the heat even more. Think about all these ideas of how you can stay warm in the winter if you don't have your utilities on. Also, if you don't have, let's say you don't have a fireplace or wood-burning stove, and you just have a generator, then what you can do is you can get those portable heaters, plug them in there, electric heaters, plug them in there. They use about 1,000 watts. You can heat up the bedroom really quick before you go to bed. You can heat up the space you're in during the day for the kids. Just make sure for safety, they don't tip over, they have safety devices. That way there's no chance of fire. The last thing you want is a fire in your house, of course. Now, let's say they ration off the natural gas and propane or electricity to you, and you cook with gas or you cook with electricity and it's not on. You need a backup plan for that. So if you have a yard out in your yard, then you want to get some kind of fire pit. Either you buy a wood-burning fire pit from a store, and it's usually a cement-contained structure, or you build one. Build one yourself out where you have space in your yard. But get a fire pit of some sort. And then once again, collect wood. Gather wood. That's the theme here. Gather wood. And so then you have a fire pit. So what do you do? Yeah, it makes fire. We need something to cook on. So you can buy a campfire tripod, and you get them on Amazon. It's just basically cast iron steel rods that you spread around the fire, then you hang a pot from it. And then you can cook stews and all that stuff. Then if you want to fry, you want to get yourself what's called a over the fire camp grill. It's basically a grill that has legs, and you put it over the fire pit, and then you put your frying pans on. You can boil water on it, whatever you need. This leads to you need cast iron frying pans and you need cast iron pots. Get yourself a couple. Walmart sells them, super cheap. Go online, find out how to season them. You can cook on open fires with these, doesn't ruin them. The greatest thing ever. That's how you're going to end up having to cook if they cut your utilities off. Think about that. You need that plan. You need it ready to go. Lastly, for outside, you've heard about people that cook turkeys on the holidays, and they cook them in like peanut oil in these big stainless steel pots. Well, they used to do it outside on a giant propane burner. The propane burners hook up to a regular barbecue 20-pound propane tank or bigger tanks, so you can do that as well. So you can get one of those big burners. Get yourself a 30-40 gallon, not a gallon, quart pots, like almost 5 gallons pot, stainless steel. That way you could boil food on it, heat up food. You can even put frying pans across it. But propane burners are another idea. Now you have to clean yourself. If you have no hot water, no one wants to take a cold shower, well, you can take a bath. Both using the fireplace method with the grill that goes over the fireplace, over the campfire, or the propane burner. Heat up hot water, bring it inside, dump it into the bathtub, add some cold water, do it a couple times. You have a warm bath. The kids can take a bath. You'll still get clean. But this is all the things you need to think about if utilities get shut down on there. Now, one thing to mention, if you are getting that gas generator, you have to store gas. Do so safely. Don't store gas in your house, not even your garage. Store it outside if you have a shed. Build some kind of outdoor shelter, but you need to store plenty of gas for it. And start accumulating that now. Use approved gas cans. Put stabilizer in there so it's good for 1 or 2 years, and you'll have an ample supply to last you for a while. Then hopefully you can get resupplied as this goes on. If you have any other ideas of what people can do this winter if they don't have utilities or lost utilities, how they can stay warm in non-traditional ways, put them in the comment section below. Let's help each other out so we can all have survive this winter that's coming up and the hardships that it's going to bring. Until next time, put your ear to the ground and your head on a swivel.